Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
Good, Tucker.
See the little pause there?
Pause.
Not a very. Yeah, it wasn't.
He's just used to it
last
now.
Time. Yeah. I had to consciously make that decision to say my name faster.
Yeah. Hi, like Kevin when he's like, hi. Hi.
30 seconds later.
Hi.
Wow.
That's right. All right, so we just finished the last episode we did. A few episodes we did. Chrysalis is where we ended. So that's where we ran into Tomorrow, and we, get some of her origins. We don't know what's going on with her. She's kind of crazy, but I love her crazy energy, especially the way that they present her with like the sinister organ music and everything playing under her. Like, this is a fun character, and they know how to endear you to people that they want you to care about. Like Kojima knows how to write a compelling character. Even his researchers can be compelling because they all have a thing, So episode 7, we're going to try to do 8 and 9 as well, and let's see if we can just like speed along, or if we go on too many tangents and we cut it one short, which happens. But so episode 7 is Pod. We have a flashback to the man looking at a hand scar from when he was a kid. So we've decided we're gonna skip out on talking about flashbacks because that's a narrative that's inevitable, and unless it's revealing something lore wise, we're just going to put it to bed until later. But so a woman asks him what kind of cargo he's carrying. He says he has to smuggle them in, and that's about it, I think, for that flashback. So
I will say, this is unrelated to the story beat, but it happened to me right at the top of starting episode 7 Pod. So if you leave the game and then you come back and you stop playing the game, then you come back a little bit later, Dollman always goes, oh, hey, you should review blah, blah, blah in the corpus to see what was happening. He's like, Dollman, I was here like 4 hours ago. I know what's going on. And so throughout episode 7, 8, and 9, this is the point where Dollman went from like, he's a little annoying to, I detest him. I loathe every word that comes out of Dollman's mouth. It's like, would you let me take a single... It's like, would you let me take a single damn step without you just spitting exposition at me that I already know because I'm not an idiot? Like, every single time I drop something, he's like, it looks like you dropped a package stamp. I want to strangle the life out of him. I can't stand Dollman. Every word out of his mouth is grating and awful, and I want him... Every time I throw him, I hope, as a watchtower, I hope that he never comes back.
You hope he'll just fly into the sun.
And like he just falls on the ground and I never have to see him again. Friggin' Dollman is by far and away the worst part of this game. A blight on an otherwise spotless experience.
And clearly an overcorrection from the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does grow on you a little bit towards the end.
I
he
disagree.
gets a
I hate
less
him.
exposition-y.
I haven't beat the game. I don't know what's at the end. Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing worse, like I've already said, getting into a boss battle and then like killing the energy and the mood and the pacing by, hey Sam, why don't you shoot him in his face?
He just
thanks, Dollman. I would have done that.
It's just constant.
Hey, see that big
is what bothers me.
Spot?
Yeah. At least, and I'm going to bring it up again. At least in Ocarina of Time with Navi, she's like, "Hey, listen," and then you click the thing, and then and she's done, right? But Dollman, like, there's no option to skip his dialogue. He just keeps talking, and he never stops talking, and he's just always talking. Like, in a little bit here, you go and you do a thing where you like recover a camera, and all of the ladies on the ship are like, "Take a picture, it'll be fun." And you go around you can go around to the different rooms of the ship. And if you go up onto the bridge, you'll be sitting there with like Tarman and everyone on the crew. You're on the bridge, and Dollman's on his little chain going around the thing, and he won't shut the hell up. He's just like, yay, woohoo, so fun. Look at me. Oh, I love this. What a cool song. And it's like no one else is saying a word. It's just Dollman. He's the only one talking. He just can't stop talking. If he would like give exposition sometimes or like give hints sometimes, that's fine. But it's
after
constant.
A long period of time.
Yeah, it's constant and uninterrupted and unskippable, and it breaks the mood every single time.
I would love for there to be a patch that is just a mute Dollman option in settings, and that's
it would be even better if there's a little tiny piece of duct tape over his mouth. You turn the option on and it's just can't talk at all. Shut up, Dollman. Ooh, okay, I'm done. Rant over. I'm sorry.
But just like I can't understand like if they like is this from Kojima himself? Is he overcorrecting because he wants people to understand his world? Or like did something force his hand to be this overcorrective? Because this is unbearable and it doesn't scream that artistic sense at all.
Well, even if he was like, if Dollman, like, so there are times where Dollman provides exposition to help clarify plot points. And like, I feel like since we're taking our time and we're trying really hard to understand things, that those are a little superfluous for us, but are probably fine for most people. Like, I think that that's probably fine, but it's just that he never stops talking. It's constant. And in a game about like long contemplative trips where you're alone with your thoughts and you're like having a nice quiet thing and you're listening to the music, and then Dollman's like, oh, look at that tree over there. Blah, blah. Shut up, Dollman.
Shut up about the tree. No, and just I had warned you all that I hated this character by the end, and you're like, I kind of find him charming until he wasn't, which is so quick. But I don't know. It's again like I found deep satisfaction from exploring the lore in the first game and finding things out on my own. And he doesn't reveal everything. There's still a lot of stuff that we have found and will continue to find that he's never talked about. But like, are we a patch away from getting more exposition? He just explains things. I'm like, thank you. I could have figured that out. All the pieces are there for me to learn this world, and you're just spoon feeding it to me like I'm an effing baby. You know, like I hate this.
It's pandering. It's annoying.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing. Like, just video games as art, and this is a very artsy video game. There has to be something left up to interpretation for it to be art, in my opinion. And Dollman, especially in these sections, really just tears that away from you. And
I think that Dollman as a character is fine. Having a character that clarifies the complex lore of Kojima's world is a good idea. But I think that he should have been more restrained. I think that Dollman's too heavy-handed and too frequent in his dialogue.
Yeah. All right, so then we have a scene where Tomorrow asks what her name means because she didn't have it in the land of the dead. Fragile talks about flowers changing the next day. In Tomorrow's world, nothing ever changed. She still doesn't believe she's alive. Fragile insists that she is, and she changes day to day, and that's what living is to change and embrace change. Fragile has caused a lot of change and catalysts in this world. And,
like what?
And she's talking about that being a beautiful thing. Not all change is a good thing. Anyway, Tomorrow then grows and lilts the flower with her needle finger. Fragile gets at that death is not the end, and that's where Sam jumps in and he agrees. And it's pretty clear since souls roam the earth, but Sam's saying this, indicates that maybe he's on a path to healing, or maybe he's in denial. But like, I love him, the opportunity to peer into where he is on his journey of healing, and saying that he, that everyone continues to be with us. This is actually contradicted by something he says later in episode 9, but maybe it's just because it's a reflection of how broken he is at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool point of progress. Fragile wanted him to do this whole mission so he could heal from Moo's death, and so it's cool to overtly see that character progression in this moment in a more verbal way, where Sam is not very verbal to begin with. Just kind of a cool little checkpoint here in Sam's journey, and yeah, like Shan said, it does contradict a little bit later.
Yeah, but I think I think it's like at the end of Death Stranding 1, it's just a personality thing, because after connecting all of the UCA, right before he goes to bury Lou, Fragile talks to him and he says none of it was worth it, and he didn't connecting is pointless and he'd rather be alone. And he had just said like a couple episodes earlier that it's a life-defining journey that he went on. So I think it's really just he's cynical because he's isolated and alone. And so he's not always being honest when he's being cynical. So anyway, so then they there's a few moments, interstitial moments, where you're leaving to the bridge and Rainey is teaching Tomorrow and she quizzes you a few times and they escalate to indicate that Tomorrow's intelligence is growing exponentially. And Tomorrow's has behaviorisms that are like a teenager, so she's beyond the baby phase where she's throwing shoes and sucking her thumb. So
very infantile. Yeah. She hates her shoes.
That seems familiar. So then you go see the doctor at the Motherhood and she wants to talk and ask about something in private. So two bald women hold you at gunpoint and one of them is pregnant. Doctor
the Motherhood is super hostile. I was really taken back by just like, oh, okay, like just come in here delivering a package and just
normally when you deliver a package, you're greeted by chiralgrams that are like super grateful and happy that you're there, and then you go to the Motherhood and they're like, who the F are you? And they got guns trained on you and like
well, you would also think that like anybody, male or female, who hasn't pulled in like a long time, that they would be mad horny and a lot more eager to meet someone of the opposite sex, but it wasn't like that. Horny.
You'd think.
Right. So this doctor is played by Deborah Wilson. She has a pedigree. She's rarely, if ever, anything of like high billing, but she is a character actor in that she's often doing a lot of background voices for all of your favorite games.
She's done tons of voice work.
Yes. So she's done work in The Dark Ages, Elder Scrolls, Monster Hunter, Spider-Man 2, Starfield, Diablo 4, System Shock, Dead Space.
2?
I don't know, probably some random
just like
characters.
like extra voices and
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually what she does. So Dead Space, God of War, Destiny 2, Halo Infinite, Rift Apart, Bugsnax, Horizon Zero Dawn, Mafia, Call of Duty, GTA, Fallout, Metal Gear Solid, Halo 3, etc. Those are just some of the best examples.
Well, and she plays pretty big roles in the Wolfenstein games, like the newer ones, New Order and New Colossus, as well as the Jedi Fallen Order games, I think.
I think she also... Does she play herself in like Halo or something? Or like I think there's a character named after her in one of these
I don't
games.
know, but I know that I've seen her face in video games before. So there's been a few times where her likeness has been used and her they've done performance capture for her. So, and that's the case here as well. So.
Yeah, so I love giving her the opportunity to show her face and like kind of celebrate her contributions to the industry. That's she's been exemplar. Anyway, so they explain that they don't allow men, but they'll make an exception because he's a patient. So she removes his pod. She then has really janky hands. She has like two right hands, I believe. She calls them chiral hands. The right hand is correct, but the left hand also looks like her right hand.
It's very weird.
I loved this. Very uncanny. How have I never seen something like this before?
If you've watched Best in Show, you've seen something close because he has two left feet.
Oh, interesting.
Best in Show is great. I haven't thought about that movie forever.
That is,
it's like a mockumentary with Eugene Levy and is it Catherine O'Hara's in that one too, right? I was gonna say it's been a while since I watched it, but it's super funny.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I would think that
in my household.
I would think chiral hands, like both hands, would be chirally mirrored, but it's really just one hand that is, and that still gives her it's still really cool to look at, though. Anyway, she reaches into the pot, and then the seam seems to flood the scene because everything's drenched in blue and there are caustics around the room. She says the BB has passed on, and Dooms has allowed her to remove BBs from still mothers without invasive surgery, so she's not severing the umbilical cord. I don't know, maybe there's hand waving around that. So it seems like her hand can cut through the seam with her chirality. It's probably fair. I don't know. Maybe there's not a good sci-fi reason.
Yeah, I have a thought. I just want to call attention to this moment because it made me it made me have a question for something that happens like 2 episodes later. So help me remember, like towards the end of episode 9. So like towards the end of our recording here.
Yes, it happens on the bridge of the Magellan, right?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so she's a psychic midwife and uses those techniques to remove BBs under bridges. Sam has a persistent complex bereavement disorder, and Sam gets all indignant about this. You're here to tell me I have issues? He already knows this. She stopped. So she would remove fetuses and transpose them for screening. She explains the still baby syndrome and talks about her first attempt to save a fetus and bring it to term. Its heart started beating after transposition, but stopped after 3 minutes. She tried to replace the fetus, but it failed, and this was Caesar's child, one of the other bald ladies in the room.
Yeah, so the bald ladies, there's one pregnant, one not pregnant anymore.
And the third one, which is the doctor, who's also bald. But yes, your point is right. So then you get a close-up and a tilt, panning, like, looking over her head tattoo. So it's an angel fetus, similar to Lou at the beginning, when Lou becomes a BB, and has the wings from her clothing. So it's an angel fetus in a black circle with an umbilical cord coming out, descending through chiral hands and wrapped in a coiled snake. Her head is crowned with vines. The hands are inverted wings, and the fetus is topping the sphere. So, awesome, crazy imagery.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to call attention that it looks like it's a bunch of clasping hands, like are kind of what's going across the top of her head there, which I think is referring to her hand and her I think so. That's what it looked like to me, and I'm trying to Google it right now. But yeah, I think that it's, and they're all, referring to her hand and her other chiral hand.
Right. Definitely that's what the two are that are underneath the umbilical cord. I didn't catch if they were hands on the side of her head.
I'm trying to find a picture. Let me see.
So there is in medicine the rod of Asclepius. This is a Greek god, son of Apollo, and this imagery is a single serpent coiled once or twice around an upright, unadorned staff with no wings. So you would see this in a lot of medical imagery. But that was the classic healing symbol. And Asclepius was literally worshipped as the god of medicine. His temples functioned as early hospitals, and their standard badge was this one snake staff. Ever since Hippocratic and Galenic times, the rod of Asclepius had been the proper seal of physicians, nurses, pharmacists, and the healing arts worldwide. But that's not what they're referring to here. This is Caduceus. So Caduceus belonged to Hermes, or Mercury in Roman myth, the messenger god, the patron of merchants, travelers, and thieves. So the visual is 2 snakes winding around in opposite directions around a winged staff, often topped by a sphere or set of batons. So similar to how she had the angel BB on top, or a fetus, that would be the top of this rod in this symbol, and the chiral hands are acting as the wings of Caduceus. So the winged staff originated as Mercury Hermes staff. Hermes was this fleet-footed messenger of the god, hence the wings to signify speed, mobility, and the transmission of information. The 2 snakes, in myth, Hermes used the staff to separate 2 fighting snakes, who then entwined peacefully around it. This became a symbol of negotiation, balance, and conflict resolution. And the wings, beyond speed, wings on the Caduceus also hint at the alchemical notion of elevating or lifting base elements, an arcane nod to trade and magic other than medicine itself. So here's how it got mixed up. in the 19th century America, around 1902, the U.S. Army Medical Corps adopted Caduceus, likely because it was already in use by the Army's Quartermaster Corps. From there, its imagery bled into civilian hospitals, medical schools, and commercial healthcare brands, despite having no real link to healing. So this is the one that she's wearing, is the Caduceus, which is not the actual symbol of healing. And there's persistent confusion because both staffs feature snakes.
Come on, hospitals. Get your crap together.
Yeah. Both staffs feature snakes. People began assuming the winged double snake version was simply a fancier medical emblem. That misunderstanding stuck. So today you still see the Caduceus on ambulances, prescription pads, and clinic logos, especially in North America where we can't get our shit right.
Yeah. Also, all I can think of is Schmidt saying "Caduce Deuce."
Does he say that?
I'm trying to think of what the actual
is it the trivia episode?
Yeah, it is, but it's not.
Wow, super deep cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
How did you
I don't
recall
think it's Caduceus, but I think it's another Usius, and so he just says, "Yeah."
So he's like, Schmidt is being a douche and pretentious because he knows all the answers to every trivia question, and Winston's girlfriend is just apoplectic at how much knowledge he has, and so she keeps like bringing up all the crazy things he got right at trivia night, and whenever she'd like, how did you know this, and he would like say the answer again but in a douchey voice, and so it would be something like "Caduce." It's so funny. That's got to be season 2 or something, because that's when Winston has his most annoying girlfriend.
So
it's
when
raining
Jess
cats
is
and
dating
dogs.
Sam. It's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, the Halloween
Shelby.
episode.
Is that her name?
Shelby.
Yeah,
That's it.
Shelby. Yep.
Shelby is awful. Not right for him. But what's her name? Allison or Allie. Her name actually isn't Allison, but he sings Allison to her.
You know what? Real quick, we're gonna stop talking about Death Stranding for a minute. Let's just episode by episode go over everything that happens in New Girl. Yeah.
Just New Girl is a phenomenal
Open
show. It was our college
Jess,
show.
played by Zoe Deschanel.
Open picture on a
about
deer
her
drinking
breakup.
crystal clear water.
Crystal clear water.
Whole different reference from a whole different show.
There's a second book and a third and a fourth. No way. Will Forte is getting the Wile E. Coyote movie finally released, so that's going to be fun. It was buried for taxes by WB, and it's going to be released now.
Well, that's exciting. I love me some Looney Tunes.
Any excuse for more Will Forte. He's had a series of bad luck with like The Last Man on Earth and stuff. But New Girl was phenomenal for college because like it was universally loved by women and men, and so it was an excuse to like get women into our apartment and watch it every week.
I need you to phrase that differently. It was an excuse to get women into our apartment.
That's not a bad thing. That's just how dating works.
I know, but like I don't.
Like not all of us have a Hollywood sweetheart that we could just call on.
Let's just coerce these women into our. Yeah, you gotta lure them.
I didn't say coerce. I didn't
trapped.
There is such thing
because
as
of the
like
implication.
Inviting. I didn't say that they were coerced.
They're not going to say no. Because of the implication.
How many show references can we get out in the last like 10 minutes?
It's got to be. Yeah, it's a lot. All right, so the doctor tried to refine the tech, but ultimately she could only look. But treatment and life extension are impossible, is what she had determined from doing her thing. So men started coming to them, and so they took up arms because these women did not want to be coerced into watching New Girl.
Dan tried, and they said no. Yeah.
And then they pulled out a machine gun.
Yeah.
That's how I definitely knew that the mood had been killed.
It's a real red flag for Shan, is when they pull out the machine gun. He's like, fine.
Also, bald women.
Fine, don't
really
take my
for me. Oh my gosh. All right. So, so they started taking up arms from a local operation, which we find out later is like Higgs weapon armament that he's like...
It's Higgs Weapon Palooza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So As Sam is leaving, she reaches into him and pulls out the bullet from when he was shot as a baby. But how did she know it was there? Can she see through like space? It doesn't really explain it at all. Unless she knew about it because she was a chiral doctor back when at that time. But they're roughly the same age, right?
Yeah, I mean, she might be a little older, but if she is, it's not a lot. Like
hard to tell with black women with no hair. That's too many things.
Well, and also Norman Reedus is, he's dyeing his hair, so he looks younger. Yeah.
How old is Deborah Wilson? 63.
Okay. And Norman Reedus, I'm going to guess he's 51.
56.
56, damn. He's looking not too bad for 56.
Okay, so she definitely wasn't around when Sam was BB. So not that specifically. So she would maybe know about it through some other means. If she knew, or if she can just see it. We don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, that she just kind of like reached in and grabbed it and was like, do you mind? She just was like, I was like, I feel like you need to ask permission to do something like that first. Buy me dinner,
like,
lady.
Like a coven of women that like don't believe in non-consensual contact. She was pretty presumptuous. But it's different when it comes from a woman. I'm pretty sure a man can't say no. Men.
Yeah.
That's never happened. It's another soundbite. Yeah.
It's okay. We're not monetized and we won't be for years, but all right.
Yeah, this one's going to take 10 years to get monetized.
Yeah.
We can do it.
So you go to stop the arms from flowing out nearby this Motherhood, and Higgs asks when he started getting his hands dirty because, Higgs shows up and you hear his voiceover. So somehow he's able to project his voice from the tar, can kind of resonate, or maybe it's on the ghost frequency, or maybe it's just random. And
it's the
I read too much into these.
That's
it.
Yeah,
they're on the internet.
I want you to know, I thought of that joke while I was playing through these things, and I was like, I'm just going to sit here and wait. I'm going to wait for the opportunity. Internet.
That was a perfect opportunity. It wasn't forced at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I give it a bow. I'm a genius.
The elders of the internet know who you are.
I was just very tickled with that little joke. Yeah, internet. It's different. It's different from the chiral network. They say that because he controls all the Ghost Mechs and stuff through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they give it a real name later on in the game. I'm going to call it the internet.
That's completely fine.
I think that's what it needs to be called. They should probably
that's right. Kojima
secure
letter
protocols to keep those Ghost Mechs out.
Yeah. All right, so after that, masked red-robed acolytes ascend from the tar. Higgs' sarcophagus emerges. The religious totem rises as he does, vampire style. He summons fire that burns the no mask off the followers, and they have like a laser light show on their triangle heads. Maybe it's an inverted pyramid in symbology. I don't know, because everything's inverted. And so I didn't know if this was like a reference to the Eye of Providence, or on the dollar bills and stuff. That's kind of a reach, but if so, then like maybe he thinks that there's a divine providence, the Trinity, which has roots in Egypt and Horus and Ra. So I thought maybe there's something there. Eye of Providence, Egypt. He thinks he's a prophet. Could be.
Well, he's the.
It could just be an inverted triangle.
Yeah, he's the particle of God that time forgot. So I'm sure he believes himself some kind of herald or prophet or bringer of whatever his mission is.
Yeah. So as Sam is restrained by these acolytes, Higgs whistles and sings BB's song. It's very taunting, and he's very good at singing and whistling.
How dare you? How dare you, Higgs? You don't get to sing that song. Whew, that guy.
Would he know that song from the first game? Was he ever around for it?
I mean, the only time I think that you hear it outside of it like being a part of the soundtrack is when Cliff is like humming it to him. Yeah, Cliff Beaches. So maybe, but my thought here is there are several moments where Higgs straight up breaks the fourth wall. And I'm wondering if he's got some kind of, through the internet, he can see the outside world. And
the ghost waves.
That would be very meta, but like There's one, like, in this conversation he has here, he makes a reference. He says, oh no, I'll save that. It's actually later. It's an interaction with Higgs later, but I'll bring that up in a bit. But
all right, so he whips out his electric guitar and he hits a dissonant chord, and his Odradek focuses on Sam.
Also, I was just gonna just casually throw out he whips out his electric guitar because this is like
his laser beam electric guitar. Yeah.
That runs on chiralium.
Yeah, this is a like what the hell moment. Is just like he has this guitar weapon.
I'll tell you exactly how this guitar came to being. Is everyone at Kojima Productions, they sat down in a room and they had a meeting, and they each had a prompt. Everyone got a pile of sticky notes, and they said, what's the most badass things in the world? And they wrote down on the sticky notes, and they all put it up on the board, and they narrowed it down until the coolest things that remained were laser beams and electric guitar. Oh, and axe, because it's an axe too.
Yeah. It's either that or they were referencing Mad Max. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Because they do have the flamethrower guitar in Mad Max.
Yeah. So, cool thing I saw was I think this was inspired by Troy Baker's love for music and especially playing the guitar. So, part of me wonders how much Troy Baker's influence in this as Higgs's weapon of choice, which I'd love to think of just Troy Baker sitting in a room with a bunch of wackos at Kojima Productions and is like, yeah, you know what? I'm loving this laser guitar idea. Can we use that with Higgs? And signed off.
He goes, you know, it'd be cool.
It's in the game. Yeah.
Can Higgs have a laser beam guitar?
Yeah.
Can we find an excuse for him to sing or like play the guitar or something? And Kojima was like, hold my sake. I am going to make an entire plot point.
Hold my sake will never not be funny.
It's always funny. I'm going to use and abuse that one, like Eric's internet.
It's almost as funny as the internet.
I don't know. Good. Kojima saying, hold my sake. It's very funny.
I feel like that needs to be a meme. Do we need to make that meme? Yeah.
Eric, can you draw like a chibi-headed Kojima saying, hold my sake?
Yeah, let me get done. I just drew it. I'll send it right over to you.
All right. So he removes his no mask to golden dripped eyes and golden lipsticked lips. He's got some Joker vibes, and he admits he's been distributing the weapons and reckons guns and violence will make the world yours. Takes Sam's gun and accuses him of going stick versus rope, which we've been talking about since the first game, the intro, where we talked about is this stick or rope, and Sam was the metaphorical rope, and Higgs was always the metaphorical stick, but now he's accusing him of going stick.
So this is I actually thought this happened a little bit later, but this is the part I was talking about. So Higgs, if you look closely, he says, looks like you decided to trade in that rope for a stick this go around, implying that Sam has kind of like been corrupted or something. And then he looks at the camera and he winks. He's not talking to Sam, he's talking to the player.
That's right.
And I was like, ooh, that was kind of cool. And like when Higgs looks at the camera, you're like, it like makes your skin crawl a little bit because he's just so like mustache twirlingly evil, you know? Mm-hmm. And so he looks at the camera and he calls you out, the player, because you've been, and throughout the game so far, it's a little more action heavy. You've been, you know, doing more violence than you did in the first game. Violence was pretty infrequent in Death Stranding 1. And in this one, it's not frequent, but it's cranked up a lot more than the first one. And so the fact that Higgs calls it out and then like winks right at the player, I thought was like, ooh, he's, you know, kind of giving the player a hard time and maybe trying to make you feel remorse for what you're doing and the way you're doing it.
The only other character I could remember that breaks the fourth wall is Heartman in the first one. He often is like looking at you, giving thumbs up and thumbs down while he's giving exposition in his Heartman episode. And so I had speculated that it was maybe like not just breaking the fourth wall, but it was his way of saying, I have been to the beach so many times, I can see through this, like, through this fourth wall and actually interact with the character. And so I think it might be like they've been exposed to so much chiralium that they can literally see and interact with the player because they know we're here. It's not just random.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think that you can see, I mean, I can't think of any other characters that look right at the camera or try to interact with the player the way that Higgs does and Heartman does.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I love that idea that they can kind of see us through the beach. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Higgs takes the pod and his hair goes all floaty, and he's surprised. And Sam challenges that Higgs killed Lou, and Higgs says Sam still doesn't know the truth and he needs to find it for himself. And he loves Sam's pain. So he's pretty sadistic, and but he believes in, people earning their way, and he doesn't want to just hand him information like a Dollman might.
If you are being negatively compared to Higgs as like, if you are displaying characteristics that we use, all I'm saying is that's not a good look for you, Dollman. Like when we're like, see, Higgs knows what he's doing. Like, whoops, you messed up somewhere along the way.
Yeah. All right, so Higgs is super sadistic. He wants to cause endless pain. He removes his sentient guts and he chokes out Sam with them. The first time I played this, I thought that it like straight up went into his body. I didn't realize it was choking him at first, because it just kind of like whips out of his hand, and you're like, what the hell?
No hell. Yeah, it does look kind of like that one. Sam's got big bulky gear and a hood on, and so it's kind of hard to see. So yeah.
So he wants the sentient guts.
Maybe you're making this point, Shan, but I love Higgs's motivation for killing Sam in this way, because he's a repatriate. He's just gonna repatriate being choked out again. So it's just this endless death loop of pain and suffering, which is Higgs's motivation for killing Sam, because he just wants Sam to suffer, which is extra devious.
He has clear vengeance goals in mind, and he wants to hurt Sam for what he did to him in the first game. This is a change of motivation. He's arced in a small way, but it's very fun to see like an antagonist that, like, although compellingly written, is literally just, it's like good versus evil. He's just a bad person who wants evil things. That's fun. Yeah, so then the red man from the beginning of the game, who you optionally can accidentally miss, I found out, he appears and slices and dices his crew. So this is the first time I saw him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I was like, I was very confused by this encounter. And I was like,
guy?
I think I was texting you guys. I was like, so I just got to the craziest, most random scene I've ever seen in a game. And it was this scene because of the red man showing up. Oh, and after Higgs being, his transformed character that he was. So, yeah, so then this red man, he appears and he slices and dices Higgs' crew. Higgs goes all electric guitar on him with BB's song. And while fighting, we hear the Odradek face laughing like a kid or a baby. Probably a baby.
Very weird. I mean, it sounds kind of like distorted and strange, but it definitely sounded like a baby laughing.
It kind of sounds like a recorded version of a baby laughing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Super weird.
Yeah. So I didn't know if this was like, because Higgs just laughed right before the Odradek face laughs at him. And so I didn't know if like it was a parrot of Higgs's laugh to taunt him, but like in a baby voice, because it kind of like, the more I replayed it, it kind of sounded like the same cadence of laughter, but mocked with a baby laugh. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't really have a read on this guy yet. I haven't seen enough of this. I think Higgs calls him Big Red later on, so I'm just going to refer to him as Big Red. I don't have much of a read on Big Red. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm still very confused by it. I was trying to make sense of it, and I don't think I have enough information yet, but I think that he's super cool.
He is really cool. And
he or she. I guess it's a robot. I don't know. Yeah.
But obviously the first thing you think when you see the Odradek's face laughing is like, well, I'm missing one baby in this world, so is that my baby in a giant fat samurai suit? But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, my first thought was this is one of the big Giga Clan guys from Breath of the Wild.
Yes, it's just like
the Giga Clan from Zelda.
Yeah,
give him some bananas. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking for bananas in this moment.
So I didn't know if this scene was inspired by something because it's so beautiful, and I was like, this could have come right out of his mind. But he tends to reference movies and television shows. So I watched some clips. Have either of you seen The Pick of Destiny?
Oh, yeah.
Like the
Tons
movie
of
by
times.
Tenacious D? Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a rock off with Satan,
Of
and
course.
he's a giant red guy, but they don't have like guitars shooting like beams of electricity. But I thought it was a coincidence that it's a giant red guy that they're facing off with.
I hope desperately in my heart of hearts that Kojima is a huge Tenacious D fan. I don't think that anything in the world would make me happier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then more specifically, there's on Adult Swim. I don't know about this, but I watched it. So there's something called Metalocalypse, the Doomstar Requiem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Have you
You've
not
seen
watched
this.
Metalocalypse?
So
I've seen an
Metalocalypse is
episode or two. My brother-in-law's a big fan.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they straight up have rock off shooting electricity out of their guitars.
Yeah. I think that electricity and stuff coming out of the guitar is definitely a Mad Max Fury Road tribute as well. Because there's that, I mean, George Miller is in this game. They're in Australia. You know, there's lots
also
of little Mad Max things.
And then there's one other. There's a riff off in Scott Pilgrim. Near the
Oh,
end.
yeah. Gosh, that's a cool movie.
So maybe it's one of those or Mad Max.
Or all of them.
We later see that, you know, the guitar can also shoot flames, so that has to be more directly Mad Max, but the electricity, it could be something else.
Yeah, I think just a general metal genre theme of rock off.
It feels punk rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did want to say, towards the end of this scene, Big Red chops off both of Higgs' hands and his feet. And then, you know, the Higgs goes, "Son of a bitch, you're just like me." And I have an idea of what that means, but I don't think that I can explain it or hypothesize about it until later. But what I did notice is that right around when that happens, or right before Big Red leaves, is you see some of those marionette strands similar to what you've seen attached to Tomorrow for just like a split second.
Oh, you saw the white strands.
I did. I think so. I mean, I didn't go back and check, but I was watching, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So I'm pretty sure.
Awesome. I've been looking out, and I wasn't looking out for that in this episode, so I'm glad that you clocked it.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, I also have a note to come back to that later, but it's best, we'll get it out later. So as, oh no, I do have it written down. As Big Red goes to kill, white strands ascend from the body like Tamara while she's floating. Hey, so we both had it. I just completely forgot.
Yeah.
The xenomorph-shaped mech stop Big Red, and Higgs escapes through a sarcophagus through the tar after getting his hands chopped off. Then Big Red plays mobile music, like a baby, right?
Like a baby. I don't know what's going on with I have no idea what's going on with Big Red. I was trying to think about it, and I was like, could it be attached to Lou? Could it be attached to Tomorrow somehow? Because she's the only other character we've seen with those like marionette string strands. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what's going on with Big Red.
Yeah, the first time I watched this, I instantly thought...
Tucker looks like he's trying to not make a face to spoil
Well, every time you say Big Red, I think of Talladega Nights, where it's like, if you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you. So anytime you say Big Red, that's the immediate thing that comes to
oh, man. Speaking of which, I did just watch F1 the other day, and that movie rocks. That is...
Oh, yeah?
That is like the sexiest sports movie I've ever seen.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Our KFC is doing a co-branded thing with F1 right now. So I worked on some promo material not for the movie, but for the cross-branding stuff. So
yeah.
Little peek behind the curtains. I work at KFC, you guys.
Also, I think her name is Carrie Condor, plays Brad Pitt's opposite. And I thought for a split second she was Rebecca Ferguson because she's got a heavy accent. Rebecca Ferguson's is much lighter, but she's glowed up beautifully. She's gorgeous now. and she had bleached her hair, so it was misleading at first. So in the wrong lighting, she looks a lot like Rebecca Ferguson, but she is the mother of the kid in Better Call Saul, like that. What's his face is trying to protect the old man. Do you remember?
I haven't watched Better Call Saul, so
Oh,
it's on my list.
No, it's the guy that works for. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering all of this. It is Jonathan Banks, Mike Ehrmantraut. So he is the father to her, and that's his grandkid, right? So she's the one that plays in F1.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, completely not necessary to talk about. All right, so then Big Red disappears in a poof of smoke after like striking his samurai sword along the ground.
Like the Yiga clan.
Like the Yiga clan. Yeah.
I wonder if this trope goes back farther. Should look into that.
Nope. Started with the Yiga clan. I mean,
It's
ninjas
the Yiga
disappearing into a puff of smoke, that's about as old as it gets, right?
Yeah, but by
That's what
striking the
ninjas
sword
did.
on the ground.
Oh, I don't know. I guess striking a sword on the ground would probably be more of a samurai move. I don't know. I am speaking from a point of complete inauthority. Unauthority? What's the not? I'm not using that word right. Continue, please, Shan.
All right. So after this, Fragile explains he shouldn't have escaped the beach. Higgs should still be locked there because she left him there, and the Ghost Mechs appear to be under his control. Rainy and Tomorrow kick Tomorrow's shoe into the hall after this. It has Rainy's charm to ward off evil spirits. She would shake it to make rain. So anyway, just random inserts that don't add a lot, just show progression with Tomorrow.
I will say I do like the thing where Rainy kicks her shoes off and she goes, "It's a shoe game to predict the weather for tomorrow." And they used that word pretty deliberately. And so I was trying to find some kind of meaning in like, this isn't just a silly game that they play to predict the weather. They're setting up and establishing that like what is coming next for tomorrow. Where does she fit in this world? You know, what does her future hold? What does tomorrow hold for tomorrow? And I think they were trying to kind of like play a fun little word game with this shoe thing here. So
Shulala.
Shulala.
That should be the name of the game.
Yeah. It is now. Internet and Shulala.
It's not ready.
All right. It's not ready. All right, so I speculate that coffins are used because they're a symbolic transition of objects back to the beach. So you figure somebody dies, they put them in a sarcophagus, then the body's just decomposing. Maybe around the Death Stranding, this became an issue. Well, I guess the cause would have gone to the straight to the beach before the Death Stranding started, and they started getting trapped in the world after that. But coffins in sarcophaguses were so random up until you realize Higgs wants to be an Egyptian prophet, essentially, and the coffins are submerging into the tar, which is transitioning them back to like the beach or to the scene.
All
right.
We haven't gotten the coffin surfboard yet, have we?
No, that's next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay, we're talking
So
about
then
it
we-
next.
It's literally what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
Spoilers
okay.
for 2 minutes in the future, man. Jeez.
All right, so after this, everybody's asleep. Raindrops keep falling on my head, plays while they're all sleeping, and a ghost chronobiote that we later find out what it is. A ghost chronobiote floats around, just kind of like directing the camera with some motivated direction there. And then Charlie pops up and observes Fragile, who's passed out in a chair, and she's having a nightmare about Lou. So this is very conspicuous. Something's going on with Charlie. It's always the person you most medium suspect.
Charlie. Well, and Fragile says something while she's sleeping. She's sleep talking and says something about something that she needs to tell Sam. So she's feeling guilt over some kind of information that she's
telling him
withholding
the
from
truth.
Sand. Yeah.
And we find out in the in the puppets episode what she's withholding.
Yes.
So if we get to that, we'll talk about it. All right, so then there's like the next morning there's a voice over with I think Fragile, and she talks about how there are building blocks in Hartman's room. And that's odd. We have only once ever before seen building blocks or toy children's blocks, and that was Deadman using them from the BB pod container to show Sam like how people try to navigate the globe.
Yeah.
And after that, you take a Polaroid of the girls on the ship, and that ends the episode, and we start Deluge. Well, technically, there's a little... I just looped it with Deluge, but what happens next is right before that.
I do want to say for the coffin surfboard thing, right before you get the coffin surfboard, there's a mission where you have to go and get the coffin, like hit from... And that happens right before this intermission part that we're talking about, where you go and you get the coffin, and as you're bringing it back to like the person, the other... Basically, you need to connect up to the chiral network to study it. It's like, if you listen closely, it makes little groaning noises. And they're talking about, like, Higgs might be in this coffin. It's, like, identical to the coffin that Higgs has. And so you're transporting it, it's making little noises. And you're like, I don't love any of this. So that was uncomfortable.
All right. So outside of the distro center, we see Tarfall. And Sam goes up to it. Hunters reach out and grab him. Reach out to grab him. A black tar man appears from the Tarfall. They grasp hands. Sam accepts it and is grabbed and yanked upwards. So Sam is like being very like chill about this. He's curious what's going on, and he actually does want to know. He doesn't usually display curiosity. He usually just like lets people not divulge information.
He's just like, all right, I don't care. See you later. Yeah. Well, that was a gripe
well, this
that
is
you had
about
expressed.
Lou, though.
Yeah, that was not a gripe, but that was something you had expressed in the first game. You're like, I want Sam to be more inquisitive because I'm inquisitive and I'm not getting all the information I want. And so now Sam's finally being inquisitive for Shan. But I noticed a little bit of a difference with Sam's body language. In the first, so this first chiral anomaly thing that you come across that drags you into the conflagration chapter where everything's on fire and you have to fight that mystery man with the headband. Sam walks up to it, and then these hands reach out and grab him and then pull him up and through it. And so out of Sam's control, he just walks up and they pull him in without him knowing. And then this next one, right before the deluge chapter, I'm not saying that right. It parts a little bit and you see a man and he extends his hand, and then Sam reaches out and grabs him the hand. So he's taking an active part of okay, I'm not being pulled into here. I'm choosing to go into here. Right. Or I'm choosing to let you pull me in, rather.
Now, was the tar man, was that Neil? I didn't write it down. It was him.
Yeah,
right?
it was the mystery headband man, who I don't know if we've learned his name yet.
We will
learn his name.
We're right about to. His name's Neil. Yeah. I was just looking at my notes, and it's right after this you find out his name is Neil. So
yeah, you also get allusions in the Tarfall to Moses parting the Red Sea, so that's great. Did y'all know in Forrest Gump, when he goes on a run across America and he grows the giant beard and then he decides to go home, when he turns around and decides to walk away, he parts the crowd of people like the sea. He is Moses at that moment. It is amazing imagery.
I haven't seen Forrest Gump in a minute. Yeah, I have to.
Forrest Gump. Watching it with the perspective Forrest Gump did everything, was involved in every historical moment ever, is just ridiculous.
I love when he's in the hotel and he calls about Watergate and he's like, "There's some men up and they're keeping the lights on. I can't sleep."
Well, he taught Elvis how to dance. How else is ridiculous.
How has somebody else not reused this storyline for a modern movie? It is such a funny movie. To have coincidentally been the pivot point of all of these historical landmarks.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Maybe you can only do it once. I don't know. It's even funnier because he's mentally challenged. So he just happened to be the catalyst.
Hero.
Yeah. Love it so much.
It's a great movie. I should watch it again. It's been a minute.
So I think the Tarfall might be an inversion of the beach, and it's leading into the water that takes individuals to the afterlife. Now, so we know that tar comes from the earth, And when we go down into that, that seems to be the seam of the beach. But Tarfall is a different effect where it seems like a waterfall falling into the sky. And so we know that people, when they're on the beach, they walk into the water if they go to end that liminal space and go into the afterlife, which we now know is probably what nirvana is for this world. And so I think the Tarfall is indicating you are, if the world is kind of inverted, and then the Tarfall would technically be in the space where the seams of water is. So that's where they would be walking into to travel to the other world. And so I think that's what's happening here. Neil is from the afterlife, and he's pulling him up into what would in the beach be the afterlife, in the water and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean that image particularly makes sense here in the deluge chapter where everything is submerged underwater.
Yeah, so we open to a flooded hospital shrouded in some green. Neil is gagged. His crew shows up on a hoverboat. He's ushered over and forced to kneel for what looks like is going to be an execution.
He's forced to, they make Neil kneel.
Yeah. So then the flood rises, or the deluge, if you will, and he breaks his bonds, and he grabs the gag out in front of him, and he wraps it around his forehead. And then lightning strikes, and you see his skull, and he stands, and the soldiers light up, even though they're underwater. Very cool effect.
Super cool effect too, because when like underwater volcanoes or like if you take those like waterproof fireworks and they go underwater, they still emit some kind of flames, but it causes this like bubbling effect around the flame, which looks really awesome. And they do that in this game. It's not just like flame effects. It's like this really cool, slightly sinister bubbling effect around their flaming eyes. Very cool, super visually interesting. Big fan.
Yeah.
Remember on SpongeBob when they ask, like, hey, how are we able to have a campfire underwater? And then the fire just goes out.
Yeah. It's like that.
Surprising amount of SpongeBob references that they made in the series.
It's all about SpongeBob. Everything goes back to SpongeBob.
Everything goes. No,
He's
this is the one like encounter I've been super excited to talk about because I think it's just super fun and clever and out of the blue, just combat area with underwater.
Yeah.
But
all right, so yeah, you start this area underwater in a crevice like this. So it seems like he is in a seam. Before he was in Nirvana, and it was the Dia de los Muertos. There was no water. This is different. He is in the water of the seam, apparently, but they keep referring to it as still being Nirvana or the land of the dead. He's not afraid, though, to later backtrack and say, hey, that was just like a lie I told you for misdirection. And plus, we're not supposed to really understand where he's at. So, I mean, if he's in water and he's not in the afterlife, then maybe he's in the seam somewhere in between. And we see inverted chiral mammals swimming around in the hospital, but it disappears and reappears like the Nirvana ghost or shadows. So I'm curious if chiral mammals can switch between planes of the seam and Nirvana.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that because I'm not quite sure exactly what the Nirvana space is yet. So
I have a theory on these. There's a few more encounters with the Neil character throughout the game, so I might want to hold my theories till then. But yeah.
All right. Well, these chiral mammals. Before I was curious if the chiral mammals were definitively different from catchers, and catchers are motivated to kill you, whereas chiral mammals, might be the first time that like in that space they're alive and they swim right past them, and Dollman specifically says they're not a threat. So chiral mammals are different from catchers.
Yeah.
And you see more outside the window of the hospital as you walk by. As you fight along the way, there's a morgue with a kneeling Nirvana shadow next to like a table. So put a pin in that. I'll come back to it later in a different episode. I talked about it with Tucker, and Tucker liked it.
Oh, I did want to call out that
Ding.
I wanted
There's
to
a
ask you guys a
Heartman light.
question. Ding. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys a question where, so this time around, Neil, especially around like his eyes and around like different parts of the body, did it seem like he had a little more tar on him? I didn't remember him having any tar on him in the conflagration chapter, but he seems like he's got some tar on his eyes and a little bit on his body, that more so than the previous time.
That would definitely explain then, because the seam is the tar, right?
Yeah.
So I think when characters are in that space and they're not like functionally real, then they are filled with tar, and that's why it comes out of their eyes, like Cliff Unger. And that allows them to operate, because it allows... tar is the substance by which you have a chiral connection to the beach. And so I think filling these haws, even if they're not fully real haws, with tar, it allows like a ka to be able to communicate and resonate with that body, sort of acting as like a puppet.
Like a puppet?
Like a puppet.
A puppet? Whoa, what could make you think that this game has anything to do with puppets?
I don't know. It just came to me. So after you get through the hospital, Sam gets sucked through an opening door, and he's back in the seam area, back in the crevice of the ocean. And Neil is waiting for him on top of a building, and he seems to be playing around with, I think, what are anchovies that are swimming upside down? Are they anchovies?
I think it's very small fish, sardines maybe. I don't know, other kinds of small fish.
A rock.
A mackerel. I don't know, or mackerels.
It could be a mackerel.
Probably a mackerel.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with my fish.
My small fish
species. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. All right. So then they jump off the building to attack him. This appears to be the same location from Dia de los Muertos, but it's in the seam. So we know that when soldiers die in the seam, or there's mass tragedy, people can share a liminal space of the beach that is like a recreation of that mass death. But we also saw in Nirvana, which is not the beach, we saw this same kind of thing happen, where they're in a space with the area where there was mass tragedy. So I think it's like you kind of follow that, like the recreated space is both in the seam and it's in Nirvana, possibly. Anyway, so then ice pillars start striking the ground. They kind of look like umbilical cords. I don't know if the ice pillars are supposed to look like that, or if you wanted it to look more like umbilical cords.
It took me a minute to figure out that you could shoot them to make them break.
Me
I was
too.
just running. I was like, these things are spreading way too fast. How am I supposed to avoid this? and then I like shot one. Or no, I'm pretty sure Dollman just told me to.
He did,
which made me mad, and then I didn't want to do it. I was like, "Screw you, Dollman! I can do without I like the ice now."
Just the physics in this area, Dollman just ruined and took me out of it so many times. Of just explaining like, "Oh, did you know you can jump further?" Like, no shit, I've been playing this for 10 minutes now. I've been jumping.
Also, like I wasn't going to jump at some point and figure that out.
It's just infuriating.
Thanks, Dollman, the embodiment of tell, don't show.
Yeah.
All right, so we get the effect again where as Neil jumps around, we see the fractal glass. So I think this might just be like a beach jump. We always see a beach jump in the terms of the real world where they just kind of disappear and it's a different effect. But maybe while they're traveling through the medium of the beach or the seam, this is what it looks like, because they're traveling in a much more linear, real sense. They're not skipping through the beach. They're shooting through the beach.
Well, I've noticed too that when he does these, I guess we'll call them beach jumps, like while you're in this space, is that it happens once you do a certain amount of damage to him. I don't know if he can do it at will or if it's like something caused by his body being harmed, because you like shoot him and attack him or whatever, and then his body dies and he turns into one of those like blackish kind of spectral ghostly figures, and then he jumps around. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or if he's just like his ha is being troubled, or his ka is being troubled and attacked, And so in a state of emergency, it jumps away from danger and then reconstitutes so that you can go and attack them again. So that's kind of what I thought was going on.
Well, and I suppose this from a later thing that happens, but it's possible that those Nirvana shadows that I guess we're also seeing here, like I had said with the chiral mammals, it's possible he's like, while he's traveling to, like he's transitioning through planes to Nirvana to travel because there's the same location in Nirvana, and then he transitions back. Yes, okay. Neil has transitioned. Yeah, also we see that beach jumps happen immediately in the real world, but technically that's probably because it takes longer in the beach, but time is different there. So it's as if in the real world it's 1 second, but in the beach you can see it playing out in real time. So after you defeat Neil, he collapses and he says Lou and asks where she is. Sam pulls an ID off of him. There's a baby cry that you hear, so Sam opens this bag next to him and a repatriate jumping doll is inside. The jumping doll being like how they would jump to Amelie's beach.
Yeah,
is how
the scary
creepy
Toy
dolls
Story
from the
doll.
creepy dolls from the first game.
Sorry, I took Tucker's joke.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a joke. I'm just clarifying that's just the weird creepy dolls that we see so much in the first game.
Well, and there's a couple versions of it, but the one with the repatriate scar and the nails in the head, that was usually on Cliff's beach specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, the repatriate doll with Cliff was because Cliff was Sam's dad, but Sam was the only repatriate, so it was more like symbolic of Sam. When at the end he dies, he gets the repatriate scar. So that being a totem for Amelie, it's the totem that allows him to jump to Amelie's beach. So it's almost like they're saying, hey, can this guy, is he connected to Amelie in some way? I don't know. Can he jump to that beach? I don't know. But the doll lifts its arm because it's sentient apparently, and it opens its eyes to blinding bright light that kind of causes a mini explosion that pushes Sam back, right? The coloring of its eyes reminded me of the last Stranding on Amelie's beach. So I didn't know if it was like looking through the doll's eyes to peer right into Amelie's beach.
Oh, in the past game, they had used dolls like that as totems to reach Amelie's beach, right?
Right, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I mean, if anything, at the very least, I think that's definitely a reference, but maybe there's some kind of connection. I haven't personally experienced anything that has to do really with Amelie's beach at all in this game, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, and I also thought maybe the doll reaching out its hand, like, and maybe its eyes showing Amelie's beach, like, is this currently a puppet for Amelie where she's actually reaching out to him in some way? Or it's just a random creepy thing that happens.
I mean, I like that idea. I hadn't noticed the eye coloring. That's a cool thought.
I have to point out that at no point in the game do they tell you what happened. So this is me guessing after the fact and still having no idea.
Well, they got to save something for Death Stranding 3, so, you know.
Yeah. All right, so then Sam wakes up on the ground of the real world. At the Magellan, you walk in on an upright Hartman with Neil pointing his gun. Now, this is a great... I mean, it lasts 5 seconds, but I definitely thought Neil was on the ship. I definitely thought he was holding Hartman at that gunpoint. It's fun.
For like
trickery.
2 seconds, you were like, "Oh no!"
Oh shit! It's like
nope,
just a
chirogram. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Tim Robinson when he like orders like 55 burgers, 55 shakes, and all of that stuff, and then the guy like looks behind him from the car. And he's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!"
Hey, what's going on up there?
The guy in front of you did it. You have to.
Gosh, comedy gold. He's the best. I kind of feel like you're just here for the zip line.
It's not true. I can't go home. Why? What's waiting for you back home? I don't know. Yeah. What's waiting for me is really bad. All right. So Fragile declares this is Neil Vanna. The card is issued that he took from him. It was issued by Bridges. He's definitely dead. He was a doom sufferer. He was a smuggler, and the card provided access to the BB experiments and other medical facilities. The one Sam went to for counseling with Lucy was one of the medical facilities that Neil had access to. She says there was a void out 11 years ago where Neil dies, the same void out that was blamed on Sam because Lucy was there. We know this from the first game. And he was the sole survivor, so they're like, I wonder if he killed everybody. And that kind of caused him to split with... Was that the moment he split with Bridges? I think so. No, it was after that. It was 4 years ago instead of 11 years ago. I think, yeah. So, later you walk out to Tomorrow eating a ripe apple, but then it still rots and Sam walks away, so they don't... And so she's slowly progressing there. Then we get a flashback to the ID card being given to the Bridges soldier. We saw this first shot in the first flashback of him handing over that ID badge. You run into...
Well, yeah. I was going to say, I do feel like we can... This is the point where we can start hypothesizing about these visions.
Well, you
at
can.
Least for me.
I can't.
At least for me, this is where I started to put things... So you can't, because you guys know what happens. But this is where I was like, okay, I think this is from Neil's point of view. This is where, because you get that ID card from him in the Deluge chapter, and then this happens, and I was like, okay, I think that these visions are somehow... So I started to hypothesize, like, how are we seeing Neil's visions? How is that happening? Is, the BB pod that he used when he was a porter / smuggler, was that BB-28? Was it the original BB-28? Was it the BB-28 that Lou got rebranded as? Was Lou somehow the BB unit that he used when he was a porter? Like, there's some kind of connection that's allowing Sam to see these visions from what I really believe are from Neil's point of view. So that's my bit on that.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, so you run into a researcher who wonders if chronobiotes are related to extinction entities. They are cryptobiotes infected with chiral microbes, parasites that induce changes in the host. They slow the time. The parasitic chiral microbes that latch to chronobiotes originally came from the beach, another umbilical tether linking the hosts to the other side. And maybe that means a new extinction entity could be born because they're able to seep into this world and kind of infect people. So chronobiotes are inextricably linked to extinction entities, and they could restart the Death Stranding. So that's not good because one was just floating around in the Magellan.
Yeah, just chilling. Yeah. Well, and you
just
see a bunch of
like
them later.
Magellan.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you get you hear that a new email has come from Hartman. You hear that Lucy was also a therapist for Neil, and so she was a therapist for Sam for his aphantasmophobia because he had dooms, and she also she just specialized in dooms in general. He has shown a photo of Lucy and Neil together laughing, and Sam gets upset and looks away from this. Lucy told him directly that the child wasn't his, which is breaking news that recontextualizes the entire first game.
The whole first game.
Really buried the lead on that one.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was really interesting. I wondered a lot in the first game why we never really saw who that blurred face was on the photo that Sam has.
Yeah,
and it's because Kojima was saving it for the second game. Yeah.
No, I think he just didn't want to cast it.
Maybe.
Because I think you do see the full photo at the end of the game, and it's a different person than this Lucy.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna Google it. I don't remember if I did or not. I'm sure that
you're gonna googly it.
I'm gonna googly it.
Death Stranding 1 photo, whatever. All right, you let me know. So flashback to Lucy. She offended Neil that she didn't remember, or she was offended that Neil didn't remember who she was. She looks down at the burned hand. So we've seen this burned hand from when the kid was running around in Dia de los Muertos.
Have we seen that yet? That doesn't come till later, does it?
No, we saw that flashback, right?
Oh, yes. In a flashback, we did. You're right. Some more light gets shed on that later on, and that's what I'm thinking of. But I'm Googling things over here too. But in the flashback, yes, you're right.
He has the burn thing on his hand. So Neil was that kid. Obviously, we're getting all of his flashbacks. Somehow this connects him to Lucy. Now, there was a little girl in that flashback where he burned his hand. There was a little girl that he didn't save. And he runs away because he sees a giant BT. So it implies that Lucy is that girl. Which is fascinating. But anyway, so we run into the metagenomicist, researcher who has a 21-minute syndrome. She's daughter to the hydrobiologist and sister to the chronobiologist. So it runs in the family. They all have 21-minute syndrome.
Oh, yeah. Have we talked about 21-minute syndrome?
No, they haven't explained it yet.
Okay, yeah. Because this is something that I'm still a little bit fuzzy on and wanting to hear.
Well, they explained it a little bit. Because you can find that hot spring, and then if you put the bucket on your head, you get transported back to Hartman's lab, and then you can talk to the puking lady, and she explains a little bit about the 21-minute syndrome.
I did not have this experience in my game.
Oh, really?
The hot spring is so
If you go into the
fun.
hot spring, you can put a bucket on your head, and it works
Sam
as
is
it
so
teleports
silly.
you back to and it's the only time where I didn't want to strangle Dollman, but it transports you back to there's a hot spring at Hartman's base, and then Hartman's lab, and then you talk to the vomity lady whose name I can't remember. But then Sam and they do a little dance in the water. Bum 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 bum.
It's
that didn't happen to you? Oh man, it's the
Where
best.
do you find that? Do you interact with him in your quarters?
I don't remember. Oh, you know what? By Motherhood, there's a hot spring,
and
you go sit in that hot spring and you put the bucket on your head. Because I was just like, I'll be silly, I'll put a bucket on my head, and then
it's a whole
bunch of crazy
other
crap
mechanic.
happened. Yeah.
So you can actually build a network of hot springs to jump around as another.
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't do it.
Because the game needed another fast travel system. It was like 4.
Right. All right. Well, after this, you run into Victor Frank from the first game. He's brother to Igor Frank. Nothing really of note happens there. He just apparently went to Australia because he thought he might run into you again. I think that's a pretty weak excuse.
Yeah, he's real hot and horny for Sam for some reason. He loves Sam so much, and Sam could not give two shits about this guy.
Yeah. Right, so you see Tomorrow has a bunch of rotten apples, but she gives you one good one, which you can eat, and it's a prolonged cussing that adds nothing of value, which is amazing. He just apparently can't throw the apple core in the garbage. It's funny.
He's really bad. Like, tries 4 times, and then he just kicks it somewhere in his room.
I like
Silly
that. It's
Sam.
if it's 4, it's like 3's the magic number. Nope, he just keeps missing.
Okay, so I think I had a different Apple experience because the apple I got from Tomorrow was my second apple I got. And so
the second one, I had 2 apples.
I was going to say, I didn't eat the first apple. And then when I got the second apple, the first one just disappeared.
Oh, yeah. So my first apple, I waited until it was ripe from time and then ate it and then got the whole he sucks at throwing it in the trash can. But then this apple, he makes it his first try.
So maybe,
yeah, I think the second time it happened for me,
yeah. Interesting. Well, I didn't ever eat the first apple. I was afraid to... I was like, I don't want to eat it. It's like, I wonder if I just leave it there, if it'll stay there for the whole game, if it'll get rotten and it'll incorporate into the story somehow. And then I got a second apple and the first one went away and I was like, well, shoot, I guess I'm supposed to just eat them.
Mm-hmm. So we get another flashback of Lucy wearing Neil's gold scarf, as he says it is. We hear that Neil voided out 11 years ago, but Lou was assigned BB-28 4 years ago. So how are they connected? It's a huge discrepancy of time.
Yeah.
All right, so you get to a warehouse where Ghost Mechs are being manufactured. So not weapons, but the Ghost Mechs themselves. Materials. You find out that materials and routes used to transport the materials were the same as utilized by APAC. So you don't know if they're colluding.
Which they probably are, APAC, being the giant company that wants to run the world.
Yeah, right. Privatize, yeah, that'll go well. So yeah, you think you have to be careful around the president. Fragile has seen Hartman sleepwalking, which maybe explains the emails, but how would he have accessed the secret information that Hartman doesn't have access to?
That was one of my favorite things is Heartman mentions that he was getting emails from himself, and I immediately thought of we had talked about this last time, the cold open from The Office where Dwight's like, I'm sending Dwight faxes from himself from the future.
Yeah. All right, well then we find out that tomorrow can ripen all apples at will now, but for some reason they just like don't talk. They like, she seems disappointed, but then she goes and eats the apple. I didn't know why she acted disappointed in that moment. She was successful. Doesn't matter though.
Yeah, same. I didn't really know what was going on with that.
All right, so Heartman appears while you're sleeping, but with Deadman's glasses on instead.
Creepy.
Yeah. Dollman does a jump scare as you're about to walk out of the room because he's very good at timing.
Dollman's the worst.
He's a very funny character.
He's great. You'll love him. It's the Jar Jar Binks of this game. Yeah.
So then you walk in on Heartman / Deadman slanted and typing away in his in his skeleton. He's researching BB pods. He has Deadman scars on his forehead, and Deadman borrows his body while Heartman is away for 3 minutes at a time because of the heart transplant. Deadman has offered his heart, which is a conduit now for Deadman's Ka, and now he can use Hartman's body. And Heartman wanted this as insurance. This is great.
Can I just say, I was surprised by how excited I was to see Deadman again. Because in the first game, I liked Deadman just fine, but I just kind of was like, he's sort of a weirdie. But then when he came back, I was like, I was so pumped. It's like, yeah, it's Deadman. And then Sam just like jumps up and gives him a big hug. And I was like, I freaking love Deadman. So I was sort of shocked by like how excited I was and how much I love Deadman. I didn't really realize that I did until it's like you don't know how much you love something until it's gone. You know, Deadman dies at the beginning of the game. And then when he comes back, I was like, oh, it's my buddy. I was really excited to see him again. I love Deadman.
Yeah. As one who loathes Deadman, I was also excited in this moment, weirdly. I didn't realize I had this attachment to something I hated for so long.
Maybe they'll kill Dollman in the next game.
We'll be so excited to see Dollman again.
And I won't be excited when he comes back. I'll just be happy that he's dead. Yeah.
Well, and he's a lot more charming and vibrant in this game than he was in the last one. And also seeing him in Hartman's body is very funny. It's very funny.
Well, it's like they got whoever did the mocap for Deadman in the first game, because he doesn't move like Heartman. He's like moving like Deadman would, and so it's very much like it's just Deadman but in Heartman's body.
All right, so this is where Deadman explains that it was actually him who falsified BB-28's records earlier to unburden him from being tracked. He had alluded to being someone random back when Mexico, but he lied about that. So Deadman was accessing servers from the beach because there's less security, which is not great as far as security goes. Like, Tucker, we're going through SOC 2 compliance right now with our company, and I don't think this would pass the smell test.
You got to cover those back doors.
You got to make sure that all of the beach access is plugged up.
Yeah. There's two of us developers, and it's Scott, right? Like from our previous Death Stranding episodes. But Scott has like a list of like 100 things to do that will take him weeks, and I've been reached twice to ask if I would just turn on two-factor authentication for my accounts, because that's where I'm the weak link.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say I did think that this was a total bro move for Deadman to be like, the reason that, you know, Lou got assigned a different or duplicate number was so that Sam could be off the grid and live with Lou without him having confiscated UCA property, which is what they considered Lou to be. And I was like, I don't know. I feel very endeared to Deadman in this game. He's just a bro looking out for Sam.
Bros before co's. Co's being companies.
Yeah, I got it.
It's a joke about bros before hoes, but I changed hoes to co's.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
it's funnier now.
It's funnier now that I've explained it, right?
All right. So after this, Heartman comes to, and he's confused. He hasn't known that Deadman's been doing this.
And I will say that this is just, I'm going to, every time now that I notice this, I'm going to point it out. This is just another moment where Dollman loves to talk. It's like there's this situation and you're standing right in front of Heartman. And then Dollman's like, you go ahead, go away, Sam. You just give me to Heartman and I'll explain what's going on. Because Heartman's confused. He's like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, I'll explain. And it's like, oh my gosh, is there anything you won't talk about? Like,
and Dollman's like, ooh, exposition. Let's do this.
Yum. It's my favorite. Yeah.
I'm just surprised they didn't force you to be there for it.
Yeah. I need you to listen to all of it again, even though you already know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. So then we start episode 9, Puppets. Dollman explains that a Ka can reside in any vessel to which one has a strong attachment, so it can't be random. Like maybe Deadman's own heart, probably connected to it.
Could Deadman and Heartman be having a gay affair?
Is it possible? No, it's not possible, Michael. Anything's possible, Jan.
Well, when I heard this, I thought about that maybe that is what, because right after Lou dies, we see her BBT go back to the pod. And so I was wondering if something like that was happening with this. That there's a strong connection between, so maybe her Ka can reside in there.
Okay. Well, you find out after this that so you can optionally, although this is one interesting thing that Dollman offers and it's optional. Okay. So Dollman offers exposition about his backstory finally. And he explains his wife was a nurse in an isolation ward. A tar tsunami swept through from a gate quake. Now, gates didn't start appearing until Sam connected the UCA, so I didn't know. Is it maybe related to like that moment where Sam connected it, gate quake, boom, Dollman dies. So his daughter's idea was to, should have stayed a bog body.
I was going to say, I didn't get any of this exposition. I have not once electively spoken to Dollman, so...
Well, it's so annoying to electively speak to him because there's always a notification no matter what, and it's usually, have you tried taking a shower lately? Have you tried doing these basic things?
You're like, yeah, I'm not an animal. Every time I get back to the private room, I take a shower. That's how I heal my sunburns and get the chiral crystals off my body. You idiot, of course I took a shower.
Like, that is not what those badge notifications are for. It's not so that you can hear the same thing over and over again. That's supposed to just be on, like, this is a waste of UX, right?
To be fair, each of them has been different when I've tried. It's like a dumb, not useful, hey, this is how the game works that you should have known at the beginning.
Like, oh, really?
And then there's one that's actually a little bit more story exposition based.
No, usually it's that, but they will all, like, throughout the entire game, they will always give you the notification icon for you should go take a shower. That's what I'm annoyed by. Anyway, so so apparently it was his daughter's idea to go see her mom in the isolation ward where she died because BTs are stuck to where they died. He accepted because he was a spirit medium and thought he could maybe communicate with her. So they swap out her dead flowers and the BB mother, which you can see her face through like the shroud that's over the BT body, which I love this effect. She attacks the kid after they play her favorite music. These are grade A dipshits, right? Like, in no world did being a spirit medium mean that you could communicate with BTs and you should bring your child with you.
Dumb.
Yeah. He deserved everything that happened. But you know what? It kind of like works in tandem with what I think of spirit mediums, that he might do something like this. So, so maybe.
Big fan of spirit
Is
mediums.
it that they're all super intelligent people that are really good at what they do?
Who are very rooted in reality and wise decision
and are
making.
not scamming you in whatsoever way.
Not at all.
That's right. So as he's stomping out the music player, then hunters emerge from the tar and swarm them and pull them down. Obviously, this was going to happen. So the tar swallowed them, moved them around for a bit, spat them back out in a tar bog. That's where Fragile found the doll, and he had apparently pushed his daughter's Ka out and took her place, but he got stuck. This is a doll that they had brought with them to lay to rest with with her mom, and so it just happened to be with them when they needed a Ka to puppet something, you know. So Fragile says she has been looking for him, the spirit medium. He never said he was a spirit medium, so she actually knew who he was and she was looking for him. So somehow she was able to triangulate his position and find him, but it turns out he was dead and she found the puppet instead. So they never really explained, as far as I know, how she's able to know where these people are. But she's creating an Avengers team. This is what this is. She suggests calling him Talland Man, but then lands on Dollman because it's better. So the Talland Man is the remarkably well-preserved corpse of an Iron Age man from 400 BCE, pulled from a peat bog in the Jutland Peninsula in Denmark in 1950. Thanks to acidic, low-oxygen environment, his skin, his hair, which included a neatly trimmed beard, and his internal organs survived. A rope nose, pilophiles, or philophiles. Philopilo, that's it. So a rope noose was around his neck, which suggests he was a victim of a ritual hanging. Today he is exhibited at the Silkeborg. Is that the place where Leslie goes in Denmark? Silkeborg? Something like that. He's exhibited at the Silkeborg Museum as one of the finest examples of a bog body. So deep cut there for
learned about bogs. That's fun.
So what I'm hearing is the name that Fragile selected was already taken, so it's a bad idea.
Yeah, she's putting in a new username, and it's this username is already taken. She's got to go
already taken.
Dollman.
Yeah. All right, we start getting private connections with the president. He's trying to cast aspersions on like who's running what, but we gotta kind of skip ahead because that just goes on for a while, and you don't know whose allegiance is to what.
Yeah, I'm officially feeling very suspicious of everybody.
Don't be,
but particularly
suspicious.
the president. Yeah, he comes in and he's like, "Hey, I've got a secret. This is our secret line. Nobody can hear us." And oh, what's this? I discovered some information that said that APAC is being secretly funded by probably Bridges. Ooh, you shouldn't trust him. And I was like, bitch, please, I don't trust anybody. Like,
he also blames the weapons proliferation in Australia on the UCA's historic gun culture. And bitch, like, since when has gun culture in America ever caused problems?
Never.
Yeah, ever. Come on. You're being ridiculous.
Is that how the outside world thinks of America? Nothing's wrong with that.
That's
just
wrong.
a bunch of gun-toting maniacs.
Yeah. All right. So back at the Motherhood, Rainey gets a checkup because she's worried about her still baby syndrome. The doctor pulls the fetus out. It's a healthy girl. She's returned after 3 minutes, even though it's basically like 10 seconds. Not well edited to make it feel like it was 3 minutes. You see caustics around the room, so she seems to be like in the seam again because she's used her chiral hands. Says that Rainey's womb is connected to the beach and says she'll be born again after the beach balance is restored. And I had speculated that the beach imbalance might be from when Amelie sealed her beach, because possibly that is the divine beach from which all Kas are born into the lower beach.
Which is like, that's a long time to be pregnant. I don't know how your wife's handled it, but my wife Liz did not enjoy being pregnant. And I mean, didn't have an awful pregnancy, but like by the time you're about 7 months, it's like, okay, I'm ready. Let's get the baby out. And so to just perpetually be 7 months pregnant, like, sounds like a bad time. Poor every pregnant woman in this world. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so the doctor wants to look at Sam's pod again. She says the BB has been there far longer than most BBs. Checks inside the pod. The birthday is 11 years ago. This is BB0. Lou was one of the first test subjects, but Sam was technically the first attempt at a BB, but that failed. Then decades passed. Lou is now the first BB, officially.
Yeah, BB00.
Right. So the doctor suggests that you don't continue looking into the past because it won't help. Well, she's a doctor of the body. She's not a doctor of the mind. So
You're not my mom. Don't tell me what to do.
that's
Damn it,
right.
Sam. I'm a doctor of the body, not a doctor of the mind. That's a really, really poor. What's his bucket? Oh my gosh.
The doctor from Star Trek. What's his name?
Yeah.
Doctor
Why can't I
Bones.
think of it?
Doctor Bones.
Yeah,
Is it Bones?
Yeah. It's
He's
Bones.
just
He
named
calls him
Bones.
Bones.
Okay,
I'm trying
Bones.
to remember what
That's
his
right.
real name is. Oh my gosh.
Doctor something.
It's definitely Doctor something. I think you're right, Shan.
Anyway, so back at the Magellan,
Dr.
Tamara
McCoy.
says-
Leonard McCoy.
Dr. McCoy. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
there.
That's right, the real McCoy.
Yeah.
All right, so back at the Magellan, Tamara says no one gave birth to babies in the Nirvana space. They just stayed in the mother's bellies. So I think these are the still mothers that are wandering in the land of the dead. They never gave birth to life. So somebody like in, say, isolation ward from a tar tsunami, or you figure 11 years ago, that void out explosion that took everyone. You figure, I think if anybody was pregnant and died instantly, they go to Nirvana and they are unable to birth because birthing is technically giving life into the real world. So they stay inside of that womb space.
That makes a lot of sense. It also, I think a little bit later on, we learn where the UCA sourced these still mothers is from Mexico. And we see the Dia de los Muertos area is on the map in Mexico. And so that would track that they're physically bound to that liminal space.
Yeah. So after this, the Magellan sinks into the tar. The currents go crazy. Tarman loses track of his hand. They are blue. So I can't believe I misspoke about this episodes ago, but I had thought that to be blue, you had to be dead because of that entire sequence with Heartman where he goes with everybody, they're all blue, but he comes back to life and he's back in color. I think that's more of a symbolic thing, as he's poetically retelling that story, because they're not dead here, but they're blue. Plus, we know that Sam was pushed down from Amelie's beach, and on his beach he was blue. So it's really all lower beaches you are blue, or the scene. So I just got that wrong.
Come on, man. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. But only they are blue. Items can be different colors, but the humans aren't. So
Living things.
Yeah, living things. That's, for some reason, the seam seeps color from them, but all other color can get through, which is fascinating. All right, so the Magellan is sinking, so they decide to release the ballast to raise it. While opening the hole, there's like a giant no mask that appears on an octopod. It's kind of a hexapod, but it's got two other long tendrils this time. Higgs, then they turn around and Higgs is holding Fragile up at guitar point.
The coolest way to hold someone up.
That's right.
What is the crime for that? Is it robbery with a lethal weapon or robbery with a guitar? Like what's the charge for that?
Yeah. I don't know. He hasn't pulled the guitar string, so it's
So
not
it's fine. Yeah.
It's not first-hand manslaughter or
Yeah.
first-degree manslaughter. No. All right. So Higgs confirms in this moment that he's no repatriate. We did figure that out, but he implies that he's a repatriate the entire first game, and that they would die if they fought each other on the beach because death is permanent there. But that was all just a lie. Like I said, he's not afraid to lie to tell a good story, which I love. Anyway, but he says he's immortal enough, and that's when Fragile clocks him, and Hartman gives him a thumbs down.
Which is adorable.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like a super tense moment. He's like, could murder Fragile at any moment. And Hartman's like, don't like that. Yeah.
It's like, it's campy, and yet it's badass for some reason.
I love it.
I don't know how they pulled that off.
It's not an easy balance to strike. Yeah.
Yeah. So this being Higgs' first time re-encountering Fragile, he didn't know that she had healed her body. He wants to let everybody go because he only wants to torture and hurt Fragile and Sam. But that's when Tomorrow steps to him, and he gets excited. He's sadistic and masochistic.
She's putting her hair up, just like last time before she went crazy on all those Ghost Mechs. She's putting her hair up. She means business.
Also, when she was first introduced in Nirvana, there was a Nirvana shadow trailing behind her, and that looked like a mirror image of her, except the hair was up in a bun.
That's what Tomorrow does when she means business. She puts her hair up.
That's how you know she means business.
She takes her shoes off. Yeah. Hair off, or hair up, shoes off. Tomorrow's getting ready to fight.
Yeah. All right, so her chiralium tears appears, and they're the same as Higgs's golden tears. He grabs her face, and the white strands appear around her as the scene washes in blue, and the caustics appear again. And so it's as if they're submerged in the tar, but they're not this time. But everyone on the Magellan is frozen in time. And Higgs is just like titillated by all of this. And he just like wants to see it play out because he's curious what she is. So I think maybe it's similar to how chiromammals seem to be transitioning between the seam and Nirvana or whatever, and that's causing that shadow look. It's possible that she, whatever she is able to transition into any seam or like the seam space at will, freezing time around her.
So we've had two people transition in this chapter.
Yes, a lot of transitioning. Very open-minded about it. All right, so she, after the attack, which is all of her attacks are beautifully well choreographed, and she melts his hand. Higgs, for a split second, attempts to roll up her sleeve, but she stops him. That's very subtle. I don't think you're supposed to notice it. He's loving all of this. She knocks him down while melting his face, revealing that he's a mannequin. And he's never escaped the beach. He's been using Ghost Mech tech. He's Mecha Higgs, not to be confused with Mecha Hitler, whom the world was just introduced to a week or two ago. So
I mean, that's sort of the same thing, yeah.
Well, not spewing anti-Semitic garbage, but
yeah,
but hateful in a different way.
Yeah. So this is when I definitely was like, because before I was like, how in the world did Higgs escape the beach? But then you see he is just kind of like projecting his face off into some kind of sophisticated ghost mech. And so I think he's still on the beach and he's using the Internet to exert control over as like some kind of ghost mech as a personal body for him, which is why he got his arms and legs chopped off before and was able to come back. It also indicates that he can like alter his facial appearance to have those chiral tears and stuff and the face makeup to appear more menacing, or like he's, using certain kinds of powers that maybe he isn't. I just had another thought, but it's slipping away from my brain. Shoot. Well, anyways, but yeah, this is when I was like, oh, I think Higgs is still on the beach. He's never left.
As the title of the game might imply, on the beach.
On the beach.
Maybe.
It was there the whole time.
There the whole time. All right, so then he escapes in his sarcophagus, and
like Charlie. That was the point I was making.
So like Charlie the mannequin.
Charlie's face is a lot like that too, where it's a mannequin and they project a face on top of it. So Higgs is using some kind of facial projection technology that looks similar to how Charlie is. So I don't know what that means, but we know that the Ghost Mechs are using some kind of like hijacked connection from something else, that they didn't invent that technology. So maybe it's an altered form of APAS technology or whatever. So I don't really know exactly, but I did notice the similarity between Higgs' face and Charlie's face.
Yeah, agreed. There's something going on there that seems very similar. All right, so after this Ghost Mech encounter and running off on another adventure, you run into the Phantom Smith that explains that ghost tech reacts to chiral radiation on a specific wavelength. After this, the president checks in and casts aspersions on Charlie. His creditability score, which I just coined. I love this. It's a credit score, but for creditability. Which is
it's a word you just invented. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or credibility. Sorry, your credibility score. No, I knew what I was doing. It was a portmanteau of credit and yeah. Okay. Yes. Back to that creditability score. All right. So his score has dropped precipitously as determined by APAS. I love organizations having this understandable, algorithmically driven number tied to everybody's name so that they can control you with credit. And APAS is like, that's a brilliant idea. We're going to do that too. Nothing has ever gone wrong. There's never been any kind of like, any kind of like massive data leak that has anyway,
you tell a giant corporation that they have a way to reduce people to numbers and they're like nom 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 nom, my favorite thing. Yeah,
a way to suppress poor people and people we don't like so much. All right. He says nobody has met the man Charlie in person. He's something of a ghost, which using that same word after just the encounter we had, it's okay. So is this mannequin ghost tech? Maybe.
Well, it made me feel even more distrusting of the president because I was like, I feel like you're trying to make me scared by choosing your words carefully. Like we've been facing off against Ghost Mechs, and now you're referring to Charlie as some kind of ghost. So I'm not really trusting Charlie either. Like at this point, I don't really know who to like. I think that there might be some sinister things coming from Charlie and the president, but I feel like everything that the president's telling me is I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like I can trust you either. So I'm not taking anything you say at face value.
Yeah. The first time I played this game and I first met Charlie, I was like, okay, so if it's somebody hiding, it's somebody from, I don't know who it is, right? But I thought, could this be Higgs and he's reformed, but they don't want to tell Sam because he wouldn't trust them. And so he has to earn trust, and then they'd reveal that Charlie is actually Higgs. That is not accurate at all.
See, I immediately thought
that would have
Bridges.
been a cool little twist.
It would have been a weird twist. It would have been hard to believably pull off that he had that kind of transformation between games after how much he hates everyone.
Yeah, I like Higgs much better as a villain.
He's so cool. Yeah. All right, so then you also find out that the president followed the contract money between APAC and Drawbridge. Funding was provided by Bridges. Says that Bridget funds Charlie, and that this whole thing is probably expansionism by the UCA, which they definitely told us it wasn't at the beginning of the game.
Which
means
it
it was.
was.
It was?
Right. All right, so Sam wakes up to a Kyle Graham Hartman coming into his quarters. They're in a sim of his previous location from Death Stranding 1 because it makes Hartman feel comfortable. Hartman pulls up the UCA to show pods. Now, I thought in the previous one that they were always hiding BB-09 on the West Coast because that's the one that Sam connects. But it is displayed there as BB-09. So I was wrong about that. It just was bad. It was just angles and editing that prevented me from seeing it. The original design, there was only needed one BB, a core BB, and this was going to be BB00 or Lu. Bridges abandoned that idea because the test didn't work, so the 9BB method was adopted. Then Lu was put into storage and given BB28 4 years ago. This was done by the Bridges research team. So he asks if they were trying to cover up for the earlier core BB experiments by falsifying the production year, hide that it was 11 years ago that Lu was created or something else. Don't know. But it'll be revealed, so let's not worry about it. You flash back to Lucy saying that they're after the child and that Neil is the father. So, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But he's
the baby daddy.
Baby mama drama.
Baby
which
mama better.
is which made me think okay, well, maybe is that baby Lu? Is that baby Lu, and is that why we're able to see Neil's visions through the BB pod that is connected to Lu? So
I like that idea. Yes, and So yeah, you find out. Yeah, she had told Sam directly that's not your baby. Then told Neil this is your baby. So she's had an affair on him. There's plenty of reasons for him to hate the world at the point that he's at. Um, yeah, just like it recontextualizes his entire character, but they just casually never mentioned it. So I don't know if it's a retcon or if he really planned on doing this. But I love it. All right, so so you see President a few more times, says that Charlie probably doesn't exist and maybe the actions were the work of APAC, and if so, they made a huge mistake. So just constantly trying to get you to be scared of Charlie and of Jarbridge or where the money's come from of the UCA. He's Australian, mate, so he clearly doesn't really like American imperialism or colonialism or expansionism because different values, they don't like us so much, which I don't get. We're charming as hell.
Yeah, and we don't have any guns.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people with guns.
Usually with guns.
It's the most efficient method.
Yeah, it's the best way to do it. We're going to kill people not with guns? You're just talking silly.
You're going to run around and stab people like they do in the UK? Why would you do that? It's so inefficient. You just use a gun.
Yeah. That's what we got all these guns for.
You take away guns and people would just go around mass stabbing people and will clearly be able to effectuate the same amount of kills per minute as guns do. That is why it is the same thing. It is sixes. You can't get rid of guns because it's the same thing. Same problem with a different weapon.
We'll just
we
make
love guns.
handheld catapults that shoot knives.
Have any of you ever dry humped a gun? Or like, you all fetishize guns like the rest of us.
Whoa.
We're not going to talk away dry humping a gun.
I need you to just shut up for a second and explain that jump in logic.
I don't have to explain this, right? Like all like Americans fetishize guns, and they all have like a sexual like thing for them.
Do all Americans do, or does
all
maybe
Americans
Shan
are like
just
this?
Do?
Yeah.
No, all Americans are like this. We love our guns. We love to hump them. It's a sexual thing.
I can say with confidence that I have never humped a gun.
Well, then you're not American.
I can prove
Do Nerf guns count? Yeah.
Tucker, have you grinded on your guns?
Nope. I have a picture of Eric. It's his contact picture on my phone of him with a gun down his pants.
Down my pants? I don't remember this at all. Send it here. Here's what we do. Send it to Amelie and she'll put it on the screen.
Is it awful? Is it amazing? I just have to know.
Yeah, you just send it in the chat later. I have no memory of what you're talking about.
Yeah. It also reminds me of...
So for context, Tucker has a few. He's got a couple rifles and shotgun, handgun stuff. We used to, when we lived together as roommates, we used to go up into the mountains and shoot stuff because we'd go buy
awesome.
Old TVs and
targets.
Build snowmen and shoot targets and not alive things because
shoot old CRT TVs, which is travesty by today's
super standards. Fun. Yeah, it was super fun to go and just shoot things and shoot targets and had a good time. So I'm sure that this picture happened during one of those times, but I have no memory of that. I was a different man in my youth. I'm older and wiser now. Yeah, and I
still have the same
guns.
sexual thing for guns.
Yeah.
Wait, do you not have a gun? I don't own a gun.
No. I used to live in a neighborhood when I first moved to North Carolina that was a little more scary, and I almost bought a gun, but then we just moved, and that solved the problem.
Okay. Well, they are.
I have other weapons in my house. I have a giant metal pole that I keep under my bed. So.
And you've got a giant sword behind you.
And I have the Master Sword. So let me be honest with me. If you're a burglar person and you break into a house, a burglar man, and you break into a house, and then somebody comes at you with a sword, you leave that house. You're not I'll mess with this guy. No, you have walk in there, fully automatic weapon. Man comes at you with a sword, and you're like, I'll just leave. I'll try the next house.
Next guy didn't.
So I'm sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way. Yeah, next guy won't have a sword. It's not even sharp. I don't. It's like a butter knife. It's just a really big butter knife.
Yeah, but it would hurt that much more shoving it through somebody's belly.
Yeah, it'd be a bad time.
Or sawing off their head. Yeah.
Oh gosh, some really graphic imagery coming from Shan tonight. Gun humping, chopping off heads. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
exactly
I
right.
found the picture. That is Eric with a gun down his pants.
Oh, I remember that picture. It wasn't down my pants.
It's literally.
Oh, it is down my pants. There's a little handgun. You're right.
See,
man,
we
look at
all
that.
fetishize guns.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun to shoot. That's not something that I have any control over. That's just true. It's just a fact.
Everybody gets rock hard shooting guns. It's like on the other guys when he puts his pedal to the metal and he's like, I gotta be honest, I've never hit the pedal to the ground all the way before. It got me slightly aroused. America!
That's how every American is with guns. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Deadman
Anyways,
explains
what were we
that-
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, he explains that the info was falsified about BB-00 being placed into storage and reclassified as BB-28 to conceal the core BB program. So that was all falsified. Bridges intended to dispose of BB-00, but somebody intervened. Bridges thought 00 was decommissioned officially, but it was Amelie who was the one that falsified the info to protect Lou. So Lou is 00. Amelie steps in, falsifies that information, reclassifies Lou as BB-28 4 years ago, and that's all we know so far.
So
Man,
super interesting, weird cloak and dagger stuff going on with Lou.
yeah. In between this, you can check on the pod, and there's a creepy Dollman singing what I think is J-pop. This is a nightmare, obviously, so you have to wake up from this because you don't want to experience Dollman
Because
pretending
Dollman's
he's
talking.
funny.
Yeah.
So nightmare. Yeah.
Now it's a nightmare because Dollman's there.
Mm.
Also, how dare you? How dare you go into my BB's pod and annoy me further?
is sacrosanct location. All right, so you go to a not location, you have a mech encounter, and after that, Higgs, the guitar goblin, shows up and lights Sam up with everlasting flames that have an appetite for chiralium.
I will say that this is probably, ever since Dollman started getting on my nerves, this is the first time where he said something that made me crack a smile. Is you're like dropping off a delivery or something, and then Dollman goes, guitar goblin, and you turn around and Higgs is just there with his guitar, and I was like, see, so Dollman's not completely like, they could have used him better. He just talks too much. But every once in a while, a stopped clock is right twice a day. So
Yeah, there's the time where also he gets mad and he's like, "Where's the rest of your band?" And it's like, that's kind of funny. This is funnier.
this is funny. Guitar goblin. Yeah. That one got me. That made me crack a smile.
Yeah. No. You'd be more surprised than that. David Wallace. Ha!
Oh.
So you die and repatriate a ton of times, and the deaths are slightly different in that sometimes the BB has tar eyes, sometimes doesn't, and
Sometimes its eyes are closed.
exactly. So
Sometimes
don't
it's
know
sucking
what's
its
going
thumb.
on
Sometimes
here.
it's not. Yeah.
We've seen this tar effect many times from like Higgs and Tomorrow, and so it's some kind of connection to the beach that we don't fully understand yet. And Cliffhanger does it too.
Yeah. First of all, I feel like we're brushing over a little bit how like incredibly sadistic this is. That Higgs comes in and uses his guitar as a flamethrower while playing a rocked version of BB's theme. So
It's rocked so
taunting
hard.
Sam. Yeah, which is awesome. It's a super cool arrangement. But taunting Sam with this, like the death of his child, while he lights him in everlasting flames that have an appetite for chiralium. So when Sam goes to the seam and then repatriates back from the seam, he's drenched in chiralium. So the flames go out when his body is dead, but then the moment he repatriates and comes back, the flames just come right back up and start burning him alive again. So Higgs has contrived this special scenario in which Sam very painfully burns to death and then repatriates over and over and over, seemingly locking him in that forever because, how do you put out the fire like that? And then, so I have a question for you guys. When you guys were in the seam, did either of you try to swim around and try to break the cycle that way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was looking for like a secret exit. Yeah. Something.
Because I was like, how many times is this going to happen? I must be missing something. Maybe I need to escape through the seam another way. But nope.
Yeah, it happens
No.
enough where you're like, okay, this seems just super repetitive. I need to try something.
Seems like I
different.
should have picked up on something
Yeah.
by now.
It's
Which
way
is
more
a
than the
super
standard
clever
3.
mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I also watched a video to recap before starting this, like an hour ago, and that guy did the same thing. After on the fourth one, he starts looking around. He's like, I don't get
They're
it.
like, what do I do? Yeah. No, I think it was smart for them to do that just enough times to make players be like, okay, I must be missing something. But you're not. It forces you to repatriate again, which it just kind of like, I feel like adds to the futility of it, where Sam is like, there's got to be another way out, and there's just not. You have to repatriate. And so it was a good way of like making the player engage with the story by using understood gameplay tropes and mechanics. So I thought that was really smart design that put you in Sam's shoes.
Yeah. All right, so Fragile and Tomorrow show up to kill Higgs. She drops into the tar at one point, and you see handprints running around him. Yeah.
I do want to point out quickly that this is the only other time that we've seen Fragile use this little unicycle, which doesn't seem important, but I have a theory that I'll explain later, which maybe makes it important. So
The unicycle that she had at the beginning of the game.
yeah,
That
she's ridden it at the very beginning of the game and then again right now, and I'm pretty sure those are the only two times we've seen it.
I have a note written here for later as well, so probably the same note,
Maybe.
but we'll find out.
I have many notes about this secret theory that I have that I don't want to say anything about, but I have many notes.
All right. But this is so similar to how we, for the first time, saw like Tarman's kid touch a chiralium mammal, and we see his handprint for real. So it's actually hand to handprint contact. She jumps into the tar, but we see her hands seemingly running around. And like, so I'm always confused. It's like, are we just seeing the hand version of her feet because hands are the way that connection is like communicated between realms? It's like, it's always eluded to me. I can't decide.
I really just think that it's like a physical representation of their contact between the worlds, right? Because when you see this part is actually really cool. You see Tomorrow like dive into what is normally the tar, and usually we just see the surface of that, and then she pops up somewhere else. But in this one, it dives under, and then it shows from her perspective for just a second, and she's swimming through the waters of the scene, right? And so you actually get to see those waters. So that confirms, and then it pops back up to the surface and you see her handprints, but she's not like walking around with her hands or walking in her feet when you see her underneath there. So I think that the tar like chiralium handprints on our surface are just representing the spatial contact between this being and where it is on the other side. So I don't think that she's actually walking around or actually using her hands. It's just a representation of that location and that movement of this being.
Yeah, I think that's the conclusion we have to come to. Tarman's son was just a coincidence that he uses actual hands, but if they're walking around in the scene, you would also see handprints.
Yeah. Because the hands are the things that we use to reach out and connect. I think it's Kojima trying to be symbolic with that. Yeah.
Plus, any chiralium that crystallizes into those hands.
Into the shape of those up-reaching hands. Yeah, I think that Kojima very deliberately uses hands as, oh my gosh, that's probably why why Fragile has those extra hands. It's because she's making an extra effort to connect through drawbridge, and so she has an extra set of hands showing a deliberate desire to make a greater effort towards genuine connection. Yep. Okay. I think that's what that is.
That's a solid snaps for Eric moment, because that's a cool realization in real time.
I'm very smart. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So then she starts headbutting Higgs a bunch, knocks him out.
Super cool. Such a badass way to attack somebody is with your own face. Sorry, continue.
No. I think that they should have used the leitmotif of the organs every time she does this, because she's done several attacks now, and they don't always use the organ music. That was just the first time. They should have done it literally every time.
I do really like that organ music. Yeah. All
right, so Higgs steals some of her hair and disappears. So he's a fun creep, you know.
Also, a side note here is they're playing a slightly different arranged version of BB's theme while Tomorrow is fighting Higgs to save Sam.
That's awesome.
So it would have been cool if it was an organ version, but it is. It shared several notes with BB's theme. So
yeah, we need an organ music version of that song for sure.
After hearing that one song from Tomorrow the first time she like puts up her hair and goes crazy, I want organ versions of everything. It was so cool.
Better with organs. No.
It's better with organs.
Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Metallica.
Way better
with
with
organs.
organs. No.
No.
All right. So then Rainey shows up and she fixes Sam's problem with everlasting flames, and a normal rainbow appears behind them as they are all hugging him. So it's a very sweet moment. But we also saw the normal rainbow when Tomorrow took out the mechs the first time, which indicates that she was like the rain that was falling wasn't actually timefall. But in this case, Rainey actually is there and it is timefall, but we're still getting that rainbow. So maybe it's more of a symbolic thing for visuals.
And I also liked the idea that the counter to this everlasting chiralium fueled rain or fueled fire, that the counter or the cure to that would be the core fall that surrounds Rainey. Because that, yeah, super just chef's kiss. Love it.
Well, and we learned that like the core fall is can refract opposite to rainbow, kind of putting it back in its place. So maybe it's like we're just seeing the rainbow through the refraction of the core fall that's within her 1.5 meters parameter, and it's not like actually off in the distance. And so the core fall also has because it's able to put those rainbows back in their correct refraction, that indicates that it can neutralize the chiralium, essentially is what it's doing, because it can heal things that have been hurt by timefall and stuff like that. So so that makes sense why it can extinguish the everlasting flame that is fueling the chiralium. It might actually just be neutralizing the chiralium itself, which extinguishes the flame.
So something that I wanted to call attention to is after they all come to save Sam, they have this moment where it's like they all kind of have a nice little group hug. Sam is holding on to Tomorrow pretty tightly, and then the other Fragile and Rainey are kind of holding him from behind. Yeah, but Tomorrow gets the first hug. So I think that's significant.
It might be. All right. So Sam, after this, dreams about Lou turning into tentacles and wakes up and shows Dollman that the pod is empty. Fragile asked Dollman to help him process his issues, and Dollman was the one operating the Odra deck this entire time, which explains a lot, and that's why he was able to share the visions.
Yeah, big reveal here is that Lou is not.
BB was never there.
He was never there, and Sam has just been imagining it the entire game up until now.
I don't know if this is just me coping and in denial, but I don't know if I buy that just yet.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I do. The evidence does seem to be, but like, and let me tell you why. What has Sam been seeing in the pod? Has Sam been hallucinating? Is there some kind of chiral projection? Is there something that Sam can only see that no one else can see? Also, the BB pod that was connected to him looks like a fake toy. But if that's the case, when he was at the doctor,
pod.
It was a broken pod. So, but if that was the case, if there was nothing in the pod, the doctor like reached into Sam's BB pod with her weird hands and like told him things, and they like, what was that about? If there was nothing in that pod. So, and I don't need answers from you guys because I know that you know the answers and I don't know them yet. But I'm a little skeptical of this. But I mean, and it is also equally possible that this is the case. And so I'm not exactly sure if I'm believing everything or if there is some kind of still like connection that Sam has with this pod because mostly what I'm confused about is the doctor. What happened with the doctor when she reached into Sam's pod? If there was never anything in there, why would she have done that?
It could have been her. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she was also just humoring the idea, but I was also a little, again, frustrated with Dollman. Is like right towards the beginning of the game, Sam mentions his BB pod, and then Dollman goes, "Oh, Sam, there's nothing in there," and then Fragile goes, "Shh," which is like if Dollman had just not said anything there, then this reveal would have been much crazier. It would have been a much better story moment. And I was like, that's a breadcrumb you didn't need to leave us. Like this would have been so much better if that little moment with Dollman had never happened.
There are several reveals that could have hit as hard as the first game's many, many twists and reveals, and it was undercut by dropping in exposition at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But that was one of the
Friggin'
very
Dollman.
worst ones. That could have been a Sixth Sense reveal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stupid Dollman.
Yeah, and also the question is, okay, so if he is or isn't operating this pod, how are they getting Neil's visions through the pod? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So how? And I mean, because it happens when Sam connects to the pod, he gets those visions, and then Dollman also sees those visions. So what I am loosely hypothesizing is that sure, Dollman is operating the Odra deck, but I think that there's still something to that pod. I don't know if there's a functioning BB in there, but I think that Lou is still somehow tied to that pod in some way. And I don't know exactly how yet, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, immediately after this, Sam runs to the shower with the pod as music is playing, and he opens it, and there's nothing there. But, I don't know. Yeah. Also, it's... like Dollman has said that he's no longer a spirit medium while he's in the body of the puppet, but I did wonder if him operating the Odra deck in some way was related to his abilities as a spirit medium, and that's why they made him that way. I don't know.
I also, with this reveal, I was like, first of all, how did Kojima write this story and the situation where you get the baby is dead gut punch, not once, but twice? Like, oof. That's a special kind of like, ugh, my heart. Like,
Yeah. But Sam kind of constantly underreacting in that, like, yes, he was like traumatized for a month after Lou had passed away, but he never sobbed. He never bemoaned his like bereavement. Like, there was more that I felt like could have been acted, but maybe it's a character choice. And this is the first time I was like, this is human. This is finally what I was looking for.
Well, and I think
He
it's
thought he
because
still
he thought he still had Lou in the pod. There was still some kind of shred of hope, or at least some small piece of her that he thought was still left behind. So I'm still very curious to why Sam was seeing Lou in that pod. Was it just like grief-stricken hallucinations, or what? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why Lou. He doesn't understand that Lou died. Realizes at this point he's alone as Fragile tries to convince him otherwise. This is him bringing out the, nope, everything goes wrong all the time. I'm cynical, and I was right to be cynical, and changing that has always gotten me nothing. So I feel that this was the most relatable part of his character.
It's funny because I had the thought, I'm like, Shan probably feels this as I was playing the game.
I can feel Shan empathizing with this character right now. Yeah.
No, it's just like, when I think about like, hey, is my company gonna help me like make more money, like, because I'm not getting retirement, I'm gonna get equity, or stuff like that. Like, and this is played out multiple times over multiple jobs, and it's like, oh wait, no, that's right. Nobody ever helps people who need it. I'll never get ahead, and it's just like my thought process of like, nope, you were wrong to ever think that. You should be cynical, because that's the world. I was like, this is me.
Just a little sourpuss.
Not sourpuss. I'm realistic about how the world works.
Cynical puss.
A cinepus.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah. Anyway.
That doesn't sound great. Yeah.
All right, we'll shorten it. I'm just a pussy.
Yeah.
There it is. We got there.
Boom, got it. All right. Anything else that we missed in this? Went a little bit long so that we could cram 3 episodes in, which will help us accelerate, or get to Alan Wake faster, which is what we'll probably do.
Oh, we did do episode 9 there too. I was thinking we had one more, but no, that was. Oh, you know what? I played a little bit ahead. Finally, I was trying to get ahead, nice. And so Well, episode 10 it's crazy short, so that helped.
Yeah, we might.
Same with
it might be
episodes.
3 more episodes from here.
Short. Yeah, because I think the last few chapters are going to take a while.
Well, and I have like a whole spreadsheet of like bonus lore that I'm writing down on the side that I can't talk about because of spoilers.
I'm
So,
sure that we'll have a lot of stuff, like maybe like we did with the last Death Stranding one, where we have one episode that's just like clean up lore bonus
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
that was a decent formula, and we covered a lot. I have a lot of great lore in there that I can't talk about yet, but you have to stick with us. Please get to the end. I don't think anybody
it.
listened to our last episode because it was uploaded late at night, and then the algo just shit all over that. So
Listen to
Anyway.
us. We're super cool, interesting people. And tell all your friends.
guys, you can learn so much. We find all the Easter eggs for you so that you can just turn your brains off and just consume. That's
You don't have to do
that's
anything.
that's how capitalism
That's
works.
the
That's
dream.
consumerism. Please go do.
You just have to listen to us for an entire 2 hours every week. That's
Let
all you
us
gotta
do the-
do.
Let us do the critical thinking for you so that you never have to engage that part of your brain, and you can like seed it all to AI as you allow that to like, I don't know, like I feel like I used to get my critical thinking out through work because it's a very logic heavy thing that I have to do every day. And now that AI does all the complicated stuff, I have to figure out how to use my brain somewhere else.
Shan's too smart for his job, is what I'm hearing, and he needs other
No.
places that help him feel
No.
smart.
Yeah.
I am becoming dumber because I'm allowing AI to do the hard stuff. That's what I'm getting at.
Shan doesn't like to do the hard stuff.
I don't like to do well in another way. At least my wife does.
Yeah.
My wife
Heyo.
loves to
Yeah.
do the hard stuff. All right. Well, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Please listen to Eric's Indie Corners on Thursdays. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleepy doof, bleepity, bloopity blow.